Take a journey back through time on the Southwest Working Life Heritage Trail.
It's a glimpse into a bygone era of steam engines, pioneers and fascinating relics of the past, right here in the southwest of WA. First stop, Yarloop Workshops, where the steam era comes alive.
This heritage-listed building was once a thriving hub of industry, where dozens of workers serviced the steam engines and machinery that supplied timber all over the world.
You could say this was once the engine room of the timber industry, and once a month on steam days you can still see some of the machines in action. At White Rocks Farm, experience what life was like on a real pioneer dairy farm. Located on the site of the old Masonic Lodge, the Boyart Brook Pioneer Museum will give you an insight into the fascinating heritage of the Boyart Brook district. Then, stay at the beautifully preserved Donnelly River Holiday Village and step back in time to the simpler life of the 1950s. Browse through an extensive collection of vintage farming machinery and memorabilia at Alverstoke, one of the oldest dairy farms in the southwest.
When you step inside Bunbury's King Cottage Museum, it's almost like going back in time. A fascinating look at what life was like for an average family in the late 19th century.
The house was built in the 1880s by Henry King, a bricklayer, and it's still crammed with household artefacts from that time. Clothing, linen, musical instruments, and how'd you like to do the washing with these? Designed by C.Y. O'Connor in 1898, the Collie Historical Rail Precinct tells the story of Collie's history as the coal stronghold of the state. You can even experience what life was like for an underground miner in those early days at Collie's replica underground coal mine. At the Coalfields Museum, lose yourself in the shelves of household artefacts from Collie's early days.
Take a look at this view. While you're in Collie, you just have to stop off at Wellington Dam.
It was built during the Great Depression by hundreds of workers who moved here with their families and set up a tiny township in what's now the Wellington National Park. Located just outside of town, the Harvey Historical Precinct is a one-stop shop for a look at Harvey's interesting and extensive heritage. At the Greenbushes Discovery Centre, experience the sights and sounds of a simulated working mine shaft at one of the oldest mining centres in the state. The Northcliffe Pioneer Museum poignantly tells the story of the brave migrants brought to the southwest by the government as part of the group settlement scheme. Set on 10 hectares of grassland, Manjmup's Timber Park is a perfect replica of a bygone era, from the old police lockup to the pioneer school.
Busselton Jetty is 140 years old and it's the longest timber piled jetty in the southern hemisphere. Fancy a 2k walk? You're probably going to like what's at the end.
At Busselton's underwater observatory, descend 12 metres to the seafloor to a mesmerising underwater garden teeming with coral, plants and fish. And if you really don't want to walk, you can always take the train. Even popular beachside holiday spots like Busselton have a fascinating past, and it's all on display at the Busselton Historic Museum, a short walk from the beach. At Australin's featured wood gallery and museum, indulge in some beautifully handcrafted new furniture or browse the displays on Australian and American history.
15 minutes out of Bunbury, the Dardanup Heritage Park houses a world-class collection of lovingly restored industrial and agricultural machinery used by the pioneers.
This 1903 Marshall traction engine is thought to be the only one of its kind in the world. From shipwrecks to fires and whale rescues, Augusta has a colourful past. The Augusta Historical Museum, built in 1979 to preserve the town's history, houses a treasure trove of precious artefacts. Drive to the most southwesterly tip of Australia and trek up the stairs of the Cape Lewin Lighthouse for a breathtaking view of the Cape. Guided tours are conducted daily.
So head off on the Working Life Heritage Trail. You never know what you might discover. It's your passport to the past.
For more information on any of the attractions on the Working Life Heritage Trail, take a look at one of our brochures.